All right. Well, it was homecoming this past weekend in Norman as the 10th ranked Red Raiders of Texas Tech came into Norman, and it was a great night. It was fun. It was entertaining. And, well, it was everything that you would expect for a homecoming to when your marshal is one of the top meteorologists in the nation and known nationwide as Gary England is. Everybody knows our celebrity followers, from JR to Toby Keith, but Gary England's up there too. Ever seen the movie Twister? Yeah, he's in the movie Twister. He was on the Colbert Report a couple of years ago, and he was the marshal for the homecoming on a stormy night that he might have even enjoyed a little bit, being the weatherman that he is. But this time, this time in Stormin' Norman, it was a stormin', but the Sooners do outlast the Raiders and create the upset in the Big 12 and put themselves back in Big 12, Dr. Pepper, Big 12 Conference Championship representation. It happened as the 10th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders came into the 15th ranked Oklahoma Sooners and lost 38-30 in a classic game that was just, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It was awesome. It really, really was. From offense to defense to special teams. Yeah, you gave up a lot of yards to Webb. It's going to happen against Tech. But what did you also do? You also created big-time turnovers when you had to. They could have been on their way for at least 14 points if it weren't for 2 of the turnovers. And you could even count the interception by Lynn, who has stepped up. Remember, he was a defensive cornerback 2 years ago as a sophomore, and he was just beat. He was beat, and he was beat, and he was beat over and over and over again. Now he's at safety. Now he's playing with Mike Stoops. Now he's a little bit more comfortable. Oh, and like I said, they won. So this is how it happened in Norman. The storm for Oklahoma happened again with Blake Bell, who had 249 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions and fumbles. Good job by that for Blake. 249, his Big 12 high for this year. Davis Webb had 385 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions for the Red Raiders. The rushing attack for the Sooner Nation, there was a lot of it. Pretty balanced, in fact. In fact, I think we had even more rushing yards than passing yards, just by a few, though. A lot of them were by Damian Williams, who had 19 carries, 97 yards, and 2 big touchdowns in the ball game. DeAndre Washington was the leading rusher for Tech. He had 10 rushes for 56 yards and 0 touchdowns. The leading receivers for each team: Jalen Saunders, 6 catches, a 53 and 2 touchdowns. A couple of big-time those were both big-time touchdowns, too, by the way. Receiving for Texas Tech, you would imagine that it's this guy. He's got 100 yards in almost every game for Tech, and he's a big boy in a tight end slot. Chase Amaro. He had 8 of them for $119, but he didn't have any of the 2 touchdowns thrown by Webb. The defensive specialists for the team was defensively for Oklahoma, a Wasso native, Aaron Colvin, 7 tackles, a pick, and a fumble recovery by this senior from Owasso. Texas Tech had their guy Trey Porter in there for 13 tackles and the forced fumble to Brennan Clay early. The leading kicker for each side, Michael Honeycutt, was 1 for 2. And it's not like he struggled against Tech last time, because he did hit the 37-yarder, but his 52-yarder, he didn't miss it. It was blocked. On the other side, Ryan Buston. He was a little bit better than Michael. How do you get better than 1 and 2? Well, what about 1 and 1? His 1 field goal was 34 yards, and he nailed it through the pine. And that's all the field goals that were kicked by Buston. The punting game for each side was pretty sufficient too. Jed Barnett set them up in pretty bad field position just about every time he touched the ball, with an average of 49.5 yards of punt, along at 56, and 2 of them hit inside the 20-yard line. The other punter, Ryan Exerman, he had 3 punts, an average of 34 yards an average. 36 was his long, and the 1 landed inside the 20-yard line. The scoring drive for the ball game started, of course, in the first quarter, as they usually do. Kenny Williams had a 3-yard touchdown pass to Eric Ward. Kenny Williams, the running back, gets the handoff. Finds Ward in the back of the end zone. Tibbs Tech the lead, 7-0, with 3:38 left, thinking, hey, we can do this just like we did a couple of years ago. But the second quarter, which is, by the way, Oklahoma's quarter, and Oklahoma does it again. As that one hit ball that hit inside the 20, Oklahoma took it from the 3-yard line to the other side of the field to the end zone. It happened on a Blake Bell 15-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Saunders with 5:55 left in the second quarter, and we are all doused up at $7 apiece. On the exact next drive, after a fumble recovery by Aaron Colvin, the exact next play, the Belldozer hits a 76-yard bomb to Jalen Saunders and gives Oklahoma their first lead of the night, 14-7, and they're singing Boomer Sooner at halftime with 3:35 left in the second quarter. Oklahoma has the lead, 14-7. And they would hold it off until the third quarter. And in the third quarter, Oklahoma knows that 14 points isn't going to be enough to hold back Oklahoma, so they give the ball to Damian Williams. And with 9:37 left, he adds a 3-yard touchdown run. It's 21-7 Oklahoma. Big time lead for Oklahoma. But unlike when Leach was here, and they felt a little, let's say, intimidated going into Oklahoma, this team with this coach in Cliff Kingsbury, they're not intimidated. Proving that point, a minute after that, So Damian scored with 9:37. So with 8:37 left, Davis Webb throws a pass to Eric Ward, 23-yard touchdown, putting the ball game back within 7 points, 21-14, but Oklahoma still in favor. After a 3-and-out by Oklahoma, they go on another drive and finish it off with Ryan Buston's 34-yard field goal, 21-17 with 3:59 left, and here come the Raiders. And they're not done yet. After an onside kick and an onside kick Texas Tech recovery, Davis Webb finishes off that drive with a 17-yard touchdown pass to Grant Jakaram. 24-21, Texas Tech with 3:08 left in the third quarter. But the Sooner Schooner isn't done fighting, baby. LeColton Bester, 35-yard touchdown into route. 28-24, Oklahoma, with 33 seconds left in the third quarter. And what's interesting about this is it was the same end route that they showed last weekend at Kansas, and he had Blake Bell wide open. But he took it himself for 35 yards and got the touchdown. Fourth quarter now. Damian Williams gets his second touchdown run of the night with a 3-yard touchdown run with 11:04 left in the fourth quarter. 11-point lead to Oklahoma, 35-24. Now we're looking pretty good. But just like before, and Texas Tech this time not intimidated. Kenny Williams gets a 1-yard touchdown with 7:13 left. 35-30 in favor of Oklahoma because of a missed 2-point conversion that would have put it at 35-32. But they missed it, so it's 35-30. And then Michael Honeycutt sawed the ball game away with a lot of money. Michael Honeycutt, 37-yard field goal with a $1:17 left in the game, 38-30. Oklahoma comes out with the victory in the end. That's the good side. On the bad side of injuries, Texas Tech really didn't have any. Oklahoma, Frank Shannon went down at the at the end of the first quarter. They talked with Mikey Stoops about the injury, and Mike Stoops says he should be okay, and he's going to be able to come back and be rocking and rolling again soon, he hopes. And then late in the fourth quarter, after the Damian Williams 3-yard touchdown run, this is the one that's going to hurt. Trey Millard. He was the guy that leaped over everybody. Take a leap into this conference. One of the best fullbacks. Probably even better than J.D. Reynolds himself. He had an ACL tear on the kickoff return of that kickoff. And he's done at the University of Oklahoma after 4 years. The hype of the game was the 34-yard end route from LeColton Bester to LeColton Bester, 35 yards to the end zone, 28-24 with 33 seconds left in the third quarter. That's a lot of threes. Defensive stop of the night, there were a lot of them. You can count one of the 2 interceptions that were both driving. But I'm going to go with the one that set up the Blake Bell 76-yard touchdown pass. That is when Davis Webb hit Chase Amaro, their tight end, with a 9-yard completion to the Oklahoma 32-yard line. That's where he was met by Quentin Hayes and Chuka Nduliae. They force the fumble. Aaron Colvin recovers it, and it's Oklahoma football at the 24-yard line of Oklahoma. course, the next drive is a 76-yard touchdown pass to Saunders. Three main goals in this ball game is to balance. Balance, balance, balance. And don't force anything. Way to go, boys. They didn't force anything. No turnovers. There was that one iffy one that Bob Stoops kind of telling Blake, get on out of the ball, boy. But he didn't fumble it. Defensively, you forced them into 3 turnovers, and Texas Tech doesn't usually have turnovers. Another thing that you did was that you held them below their passing yards per game, their rushing yards per game, and their points per game. Average. So they average more than that. Special teams, okay, he did all right. Michael Honeycutt, not really his fault on the block punt. And Jed Barnett did pretty good again, averaging just under 50 yards a punt. The one thing that should still scare you is Nick Hodgson, 4 for 7 on the kickoffs. The other the 4 went to the back of the end zone. The other 3 were short kicks to not put the ball on the 25-yard line. The University of Oklahoma does still have tickets available for their final home game against Iowa State. If you'd like ticket information, you can go to Soonersports.com, which is online. You can do it that way. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way on your phone. Just dial it up, 1-800-456-GO-OU, and that will hook you up. And also, I want to show you guys this. I'm disappointed that I didn't show you guys before, but it's pretty cool. See if I can find it. This app here, and what it does is it gives you all of your OU stuff that you need to know. There's everything from ticket information to game day. It's all here. Sooner Sports. It's the Sooner Sports app. It's pretty cool. I like it. And also there's this one right here. It's the game day app. When it loads, it's basically like a program on your phone. Gives you the history, the starting lineup, all of it. And it's all within the palm of your hand on your Droid or iOS phone. So until a week and a half, when we play Baylor for a big-time game on Fox Sports 1, this is Harry James Taylor signing off. For the final time, Oklahoma upsets Texas Tech in Norman, 35-38. Thanks to everybody for watching, and Boomer Sooner, everybody.